This specific, highly tailored spot supplementation information is going to give you an unfair advantage over 99.99% of other guys who are not in the know about this. And by the way, that includes thousands of residents of nursing homes who I consulted on for about half of a decade, just crossing the T's and dotting the I's of their patient charts, vetting for drug-drug interactions as a consultant pharmacist, and reviewing their doctor-prescribed supplement protocols, which I found quite underwhelming in many different areas. And we're going to be addressing that in this video, and I'm going to be sharing with you my protocol. I've got a video that I shot this morning showing my preparation process week by week, how I get everything prepared, what I'm taking and in what amounts, and also why I'm taking it and why you should too, because I don't want you to end up in one of these nursing homes. To be honest with you, as a consultant pharmacist, I literally had nightmares, no lie, about waking up in one of these homes, not as a pharmacist doing my due diligence, but rather as a resident of one of these homes. And it frankly really negatively motivated me to stay on the straight and narrow, to take my sleep, my nutrition, my exercise, and yes, my supplement stack, which is very critical, very, very importantly. And this is something that I believe you should take seriously, because you don't want to end up in one of these homes as well. You don't want to be cognitively compromised. You don't want to end up in a behavioral health unit, which is just this nice way of saying a dementia unit. You don't want to end up with cerebrovascular disease, with cardiovascular disease. You don't want to live just for today, but you want to live for tomorrow and for decades down the line. And this information is going to help you do that. And so before I dive into my vitamin prep video, I just want to pull up a website that is also going to help you max out as a man, not just today, but in an intelligently orchestrated fashion for decades to come, so that you're not just getting juice out of the squeeze of life as a 20 or 30 something, but for the rest of your life. So if you pull up a tab on your internet browser and you go to alphaactualization.com, I'm just going to pull that up right now, show you the homepage, make sure that you're acquainted with it. I've decided to team up with my former mentor and now really close friend Luke and just bring you the best of the best, highly sanitized information that is truly going to give you the aforementioned unfair advantage. This is all things masculine mastery. You can see some of the latest publications about resistance training guidelines, for example, for health and aesthetics. We've got a full sleep optimization article, nutrition guidelines for optimal health and performance. Trust me, this website does not disappoint. And there's also going to be an article at the time that you're seeing this video that will effectively correspond. This is your unfair advantage. Alphaactualization.com is nothing short of a cheat code that I would highly recommend bookmarking, because every single week there's going to be another piece of the puzzle, as it were, another element, another aspect of an ever-expanding map to help you better navigate life in the 21st century as a man, which is, as you know, in an increasingly feminized world. So I shot this video this morning, and what I'd like to do is go through this vitamin prep process with the hopes that you can internalize this, you can assimilate it, and you can figure out, like, where does the rubber meet the road for you. Jason Actualization is about showing you how I took a lot of great concepts that Luke exposed me to, and I hit the ground running. I was passionate. I wanted to land the plane, to actualize it, to make it real. And that's what this video is going to help you do. This isn't necessary, by the way. I like to store my supplements in the freezer just for added purity, added freshness. The lower the temperature, the less degradation of the constituents that will occur over time. So you can see my 5 primary supplements here. I'm just going to pause that. You can see vitamin C, D, E, K2, magnesium, and then off to the side, you can see a couple of others here as well. Creatine monohydrate, beef gelatin, and pomegranate juice. All 8 of these will greatly behoove your quality of life, your health, your physical performance, and your cognitive capabilities, not just today, but for the rest of your life. And I'm going to be delving into exactly how much of each that I'm taking. You can see I've got a big pill box right now. Normally what I do is 28 days of prep. So, and I'll share this in a future video, I have an E3D time management system that I'm using, which works entirely offline in airplane mode on Do Not Disturb with the grayscale setting on my phone. And what I do is every 28 days, I have an automated G-task reminder to perform 28 days supplement prep. I'm going to be showing you just 7 days of prep because that process just gets repeated 3 times over. So in my 1 month supplement box, I've got 4 individual boxes, each with 7 individual boxes within them. Sunday through Saturday, and I'm just going through, starting off with vitamin C, which I take 500 milligrams of twice a day. I recommend a 2-MAD system, so I take 500 milligrams with each meal. There was a time that I was worried about ferritin because my ferritin levels were getting too high. And basically, this is just something that you will have to play around with. You'll just have to figure out how much beef, how much bioavailable heme iron you're able to eat without appreciably accumulating iron, which is very pro-oxidative. By the way, that's one of the problems with the bazooka, with the shotgun approach that most people take, because what do most fitness influencers recommend as the bread and butter? You've probably heard of just take fish oil and a multivitamin. But the problem is that multivitamin is often iron containing. And if you're eating anything like I do for optimized male libido, hormones, cognitive performance, anti-aging, you're going to be consuming red meat and by extension, bioavailable heme iron. So for a while, I was worried about the augmented absorption that ascorbic acid, which is vitamin C, gives rise to when you consume it concomitantly with bioavailable heme iron. But the truth is that I have so few anti-nutrients in my diet to begin with that any increase in absorption is probably nothing to write home about. So what my strategy has been is still to take the vitamin C with meals, but getting my ferritin level drawn every 3 months, which I also have a reminder offline that pops up on my phone every 90 days. And so what I've been doing is donating blood to keep my ferritin level as close to double digits as I possibly can. So what I'm doing is putting 2 tablets in each of these boxes. Again, each individual box represents 1 day, and the 2 tablets is just 1 for each meal. Vitamin D3, I'm taking 5,000 international units per day. I like this particular brand because it's in coconut oil, which is rich in saturated fats. Olive oil is perfectly fine as well, but as a purist, I believe vitamin D3 and coconut oil is just a little bit better. I paused just now because I wanted to offer you an anecdote from my time consulting, which is quite horrifying. The number of times that I would see residents prescribed 50,000. And by the way, that's not the problem, because a lot of these residents, as residents of a very northern latitude state of Maine, and by extension are surely going to be vitamin D deficient. The problem wasn't the 50,000 IU that they were taking once a week, but rather the fact that it was vitamin D2. And I can remember nobody saying anything about that. Ergocalciferol, this is the plant-derived form of vitamin D, which is next to useless relative to cholecalciferol, vitamin D3. So just please make sure that you're taking vitamin D3 and ideally get your blood level checked, your 125 hydroxy vitamin D level, and titrate to a level ideally north of 40. Mine is closer to 80. I believe 50 to 100 is a very good range to shoot for. But again, please make sure that you're getting blood tested so that you can titrate appropriately. And I believe if you haven't been tested, but you suspect you are deficient, the best starting point is 5,000 IU of D3 once daily with a fat-containing meal to increase absorption. What I'm taking here is vitamin E. This is a very important antioxidant. And again, no matter what you're eating, you would be greatly behooved by taking a vitamin E supplement that doesn't just contain alpha tocopherol like a lot of them do, because taking that in concert with gamma tocopherol is absolutely essential to get the full antioxidant effect of vitamin E. And that's where a lot of people and a lot of recommendations, a lot of products, a lot of the things that the residents of these nursing homes were taking went awry. So the next thing that I'm taking here is we've got vitamin K2. This is another very important one. Between the vitamin K1s of the world, which again is not dissimilar to vitamin D2 in that it's plant-derived, is not going to be optimal. And that's why I not only take vitamin K2, but in contrast to what 99 God only knows what percentage of products, which are co-formulated, by the way, with vitamin D, which is an excellent co-formulation. Vitamin K with D3, but 99.99% of the time, it's MK7. And I would challenge you to find MK7 in nature. And so that's why I greatly prefer taking 5 milligrams of menaquinone. That's vitamin K2, MK4. And this is something that I haven't heard anybody talk about online. And so instead of taking one of those co-opted supplements, I prefer to take them in an individual fashion. And this whole philosophy centers around a sniper rifle approach as opposed to the aforementioned fish oil and multivitamin bazookas of this world, which are ultimately going to blow up in your face because those multivitamins don't contain the highest quality bioavailable ingredients. And they also contain in excess of what you actually need, not least in the vitamin B realm. And so what I recommend doing is looking at your nutrition and seeing where are the gaps in your diet in terms of what it's offering you. And if you need help with that, please reach out, info@alphaactualization.com. We can offer you one-on-one services and take you by the hand and get you squared away for life so that you're not wondering what you should be taking, what you should be supplementing with to be truly optimized, because you're probably taking a lot of things you just don't need. And they're truly just burning a hole in your pocket and they're coming out the other end as expensive urine. And that's no exaggeration. A lot of these products are so poorly bioavailable that they could be likened to expensive urine. And that's not hyperbolic, by the way. Again, feel free to reach out if you want individualized one-on-one services. You want me to, with a fine-tooth comb, just like I would for the residents of these nursing homes, go through your specific information and lifestyle. Vitamin K2, MK4 is a banger supplement and I highly recommend it. This is very important to avoid the calcification of the soft tissues in your body. And so it's a very important supplement for your longevity, for your long-term health, and to ward off, in a prophylactic sense, chronic diseases that otherwise are going to have you end up in one of those nursing homes. The next supplement here is going to be magnesium. This is absolutely essential. I'm just going to pause here because you can see my chopped liver as well, which I consider a supplement. And if you don't have the taste for, I consume it frozen, by the way. I actually just went to Super Butcher about a week ago and I said, look, man, could you just take this half of a kilo, that's 500 grams, and could you just chop that up as evenly as possible? Like, just do your best, doesn't have to be perfect, into 24 individualized pieces. And so what I do is I just bite half of that per day, and it works out to be about 10 grams of grass-fed beef liver that I have with breakfast every day. Again, if you can't supplement that, I would highly recommend an amino acid chelated copper supplement, which is not something that I'm going to be covering today, because again, depending on your diet, is not going to be something that you need or even want. Please, the zinc to copper ratio is very important. So again, if you don't know what you're doing, feel free to reach out to me and I can have a second look and just take you by the hand and make sure that you're on point with all of this stuff. I take 400 milligrams of magnesium bisglycinate chelate per day, 200 milligrams with each meal. That was another thing I would see as a consultant pharmacist, where the magnesium oxides of the world, which frankly could be likened to chalk. This is poorly bioavailable, and I wouldn't recommend that to anybody. Please ensure that you're consuming the amino acid chelated form of magnesium, and the more calcium you have in your diet, the more magnesium that you want to be consuming. I'm getting about 650 milligrams per day between diet and supplementation of magnesium. And so what I'm doing here now is just, again, putting my supplements back in the freezer. Feel free to refrigerate your supplements if you've got room in the fridge. I use the freezer because I've got the room for it. The only thing that I keep frozen is the beef liver, which you can see here I'm about to take a little bit of. So that is about 20 grams, and I just bite off half of it, and I put the rest in the glass container that I'm going to be keeping airtight in the freezer. But again, if you don't have the stomach for that, just make sure that you're getting your copper somehow. And what I'd like to do here is just rewind ever so briefly to here, where you can see the 3 things that I didn't supplement prep, but that I highly recommend taking. Creatine monohydrate. This is the best studied ergogenic aid that you could possibly take. And unless you're consuming 3 pounds of beef per day, which I don't even recommend, because again, you want to have a fine balance of all of these things. You don't want to go full-blown carnivore because you're not going to have room in your macronutrients to get the benefits of starch, such as decreasing your cortisol, increasing your free testosterone, and frankly, even your sleep. Just being endocrinologically optimized as a man, I believe, is predicated upon the consumption of at least 150 grams of carbohydrates per day. I do not recommend going on a low carbohydrate diet. It's really going to compromise your volume capacity in the gym as well, which is just the number of sets that you're able to not only train with, but recover from. Creatine monohydrate is going to also improve your cognitive capacity. So in vegans, they found that supplementing with creatine monohydrate actually improved their memory. It will literally make you a more intelligent individual. So it's not just about having more fat-free mass, having 16-inch arms. It's about actually being cognitively optimized and improving your ability to be a productive entity, and by extension, more effective in this life and just getting things done that you want to get done. For creatine, I recommend taking 1 level teaspoon per day. If you're getting at least 3 grams of it, you should be able to fully saturate your creatine stores. And I don't recommend doing a loading protocol, but rather just taking it once a day. Again, like I said, a level teaspoon, which should give you between 3 to 5 grams of creatine monohydrate. You can also see here beef gelatin powder and pomegranate juice that I'm taking. I believe these would also immensely benefit you without me knowing anything further about your specific nutrition day to day or on a weekly basis. The beef gelatin powder has a very, very favorable amino acid profile. And to be honest with you, there's really nothing better in terms of injury prevention. As a man going to the gym, if you want to be able to lift day in and day out without getting injured, staying healthy long term, not having tears, strains, and issues that are ultimately going to detract from your ability to lift regularly, I highly recommend gelatin powder. I'm taking 20 grams a day. Again, if you have a tablespoon, just take a level tablespoon with each of your meals, assuming you're eating too mad like I am and advocate for. Pomegranate juice, truly saving the best for last. If there's anything, please, one thing only that you get out of this video, it is that the best insurance policy, so to speak, that you could introduce to your life would be to take a shot of that every single day. 1 US cup, about 250 milliliters. That's a quarter liter for metric folks. This is the single greatest way to augment your antioxidant capacity. And honestly, the number one way to ensure that you don't end up in one of those nursing homes, cognitively compromised, just not having your wherewithal about you, ending up like my grandfather 2 states over, not knowing where he is in a vehicle that he barely knows how to drive and operate properly. I don't want that to happen to you. I don't want that to happen to me either. I want us to age effectively, to actualize our potential and have the wisdom to bestow to future generations. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Drop a comment down below. Let me know if you have any questions about your specific situation. This information completely changed my life. I was able to reverse a rare disease called eosinophilic esophagitis, to get off all of my medications, to wake up not needing to lean on the myriad chemical crutches of the world, to be able to train at 5 a.m., to be able to wake up naturally without an alarm, and to have energy throughout the day to share with other people, and to just be my best self and really enjoy my time here on this planet, and to love my life, like to actually want to be here and to be looking forward to the next day and what sort of output that I could offer. And I hope you get the sense that that's possible for you as well, that you could just have this energy that you just want to share with others, man, because your cup finally filleth over. I love you very much. And until next time, my friend, find your freedom. Peace.